What's up, witches? It's me, Luna. I am here with an unboxing for you, but first I have a little preamble. I want to say welcome to everyone. Thank you so much to my viewers that have been here for the last few years. You keep me going, and my wonderful little core virtual coven that shows up on Wednesday nights for live streams. Just thanks again for being there, and especially to my patrons who have decided that it's worth $3 a month just to keep me going, and I so appreciate that. If you are new here, I hope you like what you see, and if you do, consider subscribing. Like the video in any case so more people can figure out if they like me or not. The deck that we are looking at today is a gift from my daughter, and it is the Medieval Mischief Tarot by Ricardo Gil Ferraro. This is, as you see, a US Games deck. I hope you see. Well, you can't tell from that, but from the sides we just see pictures of cards. That's how you tell it's US Games right there, that little fool. This was copyright 2022, came out last July, I believe. With a fascination for the Middle Ages, Italian designer Ricardo Gil Ferraro has created a thoroughly original deck with a modern medieval aesthetic. Modern medieval aesthetic, that's an oxymoron. Having collected esoteric and Marseille-style tarot decks, Ferraro was intent on creating a deck with simple, accessible symbols for today's readers. Medieval Mischief Tarot provides elemental and astrological correlations, always appreciated, within whimsical drawings on borderless and wordless cards. Kings, knights, damsels, and demons show you the path to self-knowledge. Includes 78 cards and 60-page guidebook. So, as US Games is changing and going from those super flimsy little tuck boxes to these nice two-part boxes, I do appreciate that. Nice and black inside. Somebody wants me. Why? Why do you want me? There's the book. There's the deck. Okay, so here's the deck. Let's take a look at the book. It's chunkier than your basic little white book. And this deck, looking at size-wise, it's very, I think Hanson Roberts might be just a bit shorter. But it is on the smaller side, though not a mini deck, and I really like that. It's nice to have a deck that easily fits in your hands. I think the trend towards these massive decks has got to back up at some point. Okay, so we have a little blurb about the creation of the Medieval Mischief, so let's read a little bit of that, and then right into the major arcana. So we don't have a lot of preamble. Oh, looky at the back. Legend of Symbols. How nice. They give us the symbols for the elements. They give us the glyphs for all of the planets and the signs. Thank you for making it easier for people to learn with your deck. So we have using the cards, and we go straight into the Medieval Mischief spread, which is a 9-card reading. And looks like a good one, but I don't think we'll be doing a 9-card reading. All right, let's read this thing in the beginning. Since I graduated from Brera Academy of Fine Arts in Milan, I've been delving into esotericism and medieval art, frequently visiting the great churches and monuments in Italy. The first topic to pull me into this fascinating and symbolic world was tarot. I've started collecting the most interesting and unusual decks, from Marseille-style tarot to Italian decks, in parentheses, the ones that started it all, right, the Tarocchi, to specifically esoteric decks such as those from the Golden Dawn school of thought. Each and every one of them expanded my knowledge of symbolism. My love for the medieval era continues to grow as my knowledge becomes deeper. For me, the Middle Ages were not a dark era. It was a period when splendid art, innovation, and culture was made and thrived. For that reason, I decided to incorporate a bit of lighthearted medieval atmosphere in my deck. Knights, damsels, and of course mischievous demons are presented here in a new and unique way. The symbolic cards of tarot are a way to dig into oneself, to know oneself better, and to meditate about the past, present, and future choices. While doing that, it's important to not be overwhelmed by the numerous and sometimes contradictory symbols. Syncretism is absolutely important for a tarot deck as much as simplicity and effectiveness are. Syncretism. I'm not sure what that means, and I want to look it up. I'll read the rest, but I'm looking it up. Okay. Syncretism. The amalgamation or attempted amalgamation of different religions, cultures, or schools of thought. Okay. Interfaith dialogue can easily slip into syncretism, the merging of different inflectional varieties. Oh, that's for linguistics. Okay. So it is kind of trying to smash differing systems into each other. Syncretism is absolutely important for a tarot deck. As much as simplicity and effectiveness are. All symbols can help us in our path to knowledge. So he's just talking about drawing in symbols from other cultures, but not necessarily kind of crushing them together just in a pertinent way. Am I making sense? I don't know. All symbols can help us on our path to knowledge, but only when they are fully understood. Thus, I have limited the introduction of symbols to elemental triangles and astrological correlations for each card. Every court card has a double elemental correlation because each grade, good gravy, has a particular element in it, peculiar element in it. Let's see how many other times we can get interrupted here. Page is earth, chevalier is fire, queen is water, and king is air. Of course, these symbols are not meant to represent a reality. Their purpose is to help you reveal your own path through reason and introspection while hopefully having a bit of fun along the way. I really want to thank the wonderful team at US Game Systems for believing in my project and helping me bring it to life. I'm especially grateful to Jennifer Kaplan, Lynn Araujo, and Joe Boginski. Okay, so he is a fine artist, and it's so interesting when you see drawings that look simplistic or naive or primitive. When I was unboxing the Citadel the other day, there was a card that's got all these squiggles on it, and I said something about, you think that would be easy to do and make it look nice. It's not. There's so much. It takes a lot of artistic knowledge to be able to do a stick figure kind of thing and make it look right. Kind of like with the deck of characters, same deal. All right, let's get to the deck. Okay, I've zoomed way in at the risk of things getting fuzzy. I hope they don't. So we have, as usual with the US Games decks, a facing card. With the deck, the author and the publisher. And here is the back. Look at this. So, yeah. Some people may look at that and go, any kid could do that. It's a bunch of, but it's not. There's so much artistry in here. So we have kind of this double-headed dragon. Very interesting. Okay. So here we start with Zero the Fool. And as promised, there are no words on the cards. We have the element of air. I'll tell you that the four elements are each represented by a triangle. Upward-facing triangles are the so-called masculine or active elements of air and fire. The plain upward-facing is fire. Upward-facing with the line through is air. Downward-facing are the so-called feminine or the receptive or the experiencing. Oh, there's a hummingbird. And plain downward is water, and downward with a line is earth. I could go into a whole lecture. Not going to do it. Okay. So here we have the Fool heading this way, which is interesting. Fool. I'm so used to the Fool's heading off to the left, but there's a dog that looks like it's just ripped a chunk out of his britches, and the flowering wand and the kit bag and an instrument. I always love instruments, music in decks. But there's no background at all. We see no cliff, none of those things. So he's really boiling things down. Here's the Magician. We have the Man. Oh, wait. There's no planetary attribute here. But with the Magician, we have air as well, Mercury. See, I like that because it adds another layer where you don't have like a background where you can pick out, oh, here's a rose or here's a lily or, there's columns, there's a veil, stuff that's in the background. Um, they're adding that other layer with the planetary attribute and the elemental attribute. So awesome. Aaron Mercury, of course, is Gemini. And here's the High Priestess. So the thing that could get confusing is I just said Gemini. I looked at this and went, wait, that's Gemini. No, that's a Roman numeral 2. So here is the High Priestess, water and Pluto. Wow. And look at the web that she's woven. And there's a book with a cross on it, so she's kind of treading on the Bible. Very interesting. Sort of a bishop's hat. Here's the Empress, who is a chicken? A mermaid? No, they got legs. Okay, I'm not really sure what's going on here. But here's the Empress. We have the moon, and we have Venus, and we have Earth. And the shield that we usually see. And there's the Emperor, ram's horns, and his shield. And this is fire, of course, and Aries. Then we have Taurus for the Hierophant, and Earth. How interesting. Well, look at the bull's heads. All right. 6 is the Lovers. Look at this thing piercing their third eyes. Fascinating. An arrow through the serpent. This is Gemini and Air. Wow. Cancer for the Chariot. Okay, so there's, wow. So hard to see the Chariot here. I mean, we've got a knight, and there's like a wheel and these crab claws that are holding things that could be kind of like reins, except the Chariot doesn't hold the reins. And then we've got this creature attached. I'm going to go to the book and see how much they describe things so I can stop being so fussy. You guys know better than that. All right, the Chariot, the water element. The charioteer represents reason, while the Sphinx, okay, she's a Sphinx, is a beast acting out of sheer instinct. Reason overcomes the beast. Well, the struggle is not over yet in the Lust card. Okay, reason overcomes the beast while the struggle is not over yet in the Lust card. So we're calling this the Lust card. The Chariot's movements work to keep it in balance like a boat floating in the water. It is a safe place, a flourishing inner world defended by Cancer's armor. How interesting. See, the Lust card, I would think of the devil, but is this drawing on Marseille? I don't really know Marseille system. So it's an adventure. Here is Justice for number 8. Here in Libra. Here's the Hermit, Virgo, Saturn. Virgo and Saturn and Earth. Okay, Saturn certainly makes sense. Looks like he's laid an egg in the fire. Okay, and here we have the Wheel of Fortune, Jupiter. Tarot, Rota. All right, fire. Leo is, of course, the Strength card, Leo and fire. That's a cool image. Now you can really see kind of the medieval, if you think about art back then. Here's Neptune water for the Hanged Man. Yeah, I mean, that makes total sense because the Hanged Man is surrender, and so is Neptune. Surrender and sacrifice. And here's Death with Scorpio, of course. This says vitriol on it. Wow. Scorpio and water. And now we have Temperance. Sagittarius. And and fire. I'm trying to think, have the elements corresponded to the astrology in everyone? I'm not going back to look. So here we have Uranus and Capricorn. And that only kind of makes sense because the ruler of Capricorn, Saturn, used to be the ruler of Aquarius. Now Uranus is, I'm not going to go any farther. We've got Earth, Capricorn, and then we've got Uranus, and this is the devil. So Uranus talks about it being a disruptive principle. The devil is the disruptive principle that drags you out into your lust rather than your reason. Capricorn and Earth talks about restriction and karma, that when we succumb to our lust, we got to take the consequences, and that's what Saturn's there for. Okay, here's the tower with the giant eyeball. The Eye of Sauron, ours. The star, air and Aquarius, yeah. Pisces for the moon, really? Pisces and moon and water, interesting. I think you'd go with Cancer for the moon, but as far as the meaning goes and the vibe of the moon card goes, yes, I'm totally down with Pisces. Okay, we've got the sun and fire for the sun, hello, and then we have judgment. And all we have there is fire, the transformative power of fire, and the phoenix here. So that makes total sense. And look, Earth. You rarely see the symbol for Earth because we don't use it in astrology. And in your astrological chart, Earth goes in the point exactly opposite the position of the sun. And astrologers just don't put it in because we're on, that's where we're viewing from. Here's all the elements and the Earth. Okay. Ace of Wands. Now we've got some color. The fire element is in color. So that's here's how we differentiate. Since there are no words on the cards, the Roman numerals are in purple for the majors. Now we have an elemental symbol in red for wands. I mean, just appreciate the work here. These were not slapped together. You can certainly see the skill and the talent. Here's the two. These weird creatures with the horns. And there was no, let me see if they talk about them. Because there was no, oh, wait. So the minors, this much is majors. Here are the minors. These are going to be very abbreviated. Yeah, all we get is keywords. So he does not call them wands, he calls them clubs. Fire element, will and desire. 2 says peace after a conflict, a clear plan forward. So we don't get any insight into here's the critters I made and what I think about them. And I mean, part of me is grateful for that when you can just dive into a deck and use it rather than having to learn a whole, world behind it. But I still would like to know a little bit more about the mind of the artist, I guess. Here's the 3. And, okay, sorry, backing up. Let's look at the simplicity of this. And we have a creature holding the 2 clubs. One's this way and one's this way, and they're kind of looking and putting them together. So there I do get the idea of a plan. How do these go together? What can I do with these? And then here's the critter sitting in the top of a tree, perhaps looking out to see how things are launching. There's the 4. Now, he's built a structure to rest in. We've got Jupiter there. Oh no, we've just got 4. So we don't have astrological correspondences in the minors, just the majors. There's the 5. A little bit of conflict going on with the tangle of legs. Hard to tell what belongs to who. And here's the 6, the victory card. Waha. 7. this is an interesting image because we've got two of them holding on to the same wand, and then this one's like grabbing that one's hand. Is this someone giving someone else a leg up? Let's look. Challenge, defense. Okay. And that's it. We don't have any reverse meanings. We just very simple keywords. And here's the Eight of Wands. So, I guess if you're going to do a system like Marseille where they have pip cards, this is the process. You've got to go in and just learn the keywords for each of those cards. And the shorter, the more brief, the better. The easier you can retain it. So Eight of Clubs says swiftness of realization, good things coming your way without effort. Something's kicking up a fuss out there. Here's the Nine of Wands. Wow, so we don't see anything like drawing a boundary. I mean, this thing's got its mouth open. I gotta look. Augmented strength, valor, facing adversities with pride. Augmented strength and valor. So see, the meanings are different. These are not Rider-Waite Smith. And here's the 10. We definitely get something familiar there. What do we call the courts? Page of Clubs, Earth of Fire. No, I already read that. The Chevalier, Fire of Fire. We do get the different elements. We get the Earth of Fire. Okay, wait, whoa. Something's wrong here. Earth of Fire for the page, and we've got the same things for the Chevalier. That's supposed to be fire. Yeah, that's unfortunate. And then we have the Water of Fire. Those are correct. And look at the King. Wow. And the Air of Fire. But that second one is not right. All right. There's the Ace of Cups. The 2. The 3. Sweetness on the tongue. And we see a blue downward pointing triangle, the symbol of water. And then we've got the 4 of Cups. Look at him. It's like he's dying of thirst. And there's cups around him. Boredom, apathy, withdrawal. What a great image. What a great image. And, in the Waite Smith, you've got someone sitting there, lost in their own shit. While someone's offering a cup. Here, there's something else for you. They're looking really disappointed in the 3, something else. But look at this. It looks like someone's dying of thirst with water all around him. So it can also be just refusal to accept help. Wow. I love it when I get a new insight because of an artist's choices. Here's the 5 of Cups. Loss. Look at the tears. And the 6. Okay, go back. It looks like her boobs are crying. Or they have false eyelashes. Or we have a shirt with pockets, which is, come on now. Come on now. There we go. Very interesting. She's wearing a cross. A lot of crosses. I guess that's medieval. Here's the 6 of Cups. Sitting in a cup, a tear again. So reading a letter. So probably reading, a letter from a lost love or something like that. So we definitely get the idea of loss there too. Here's the 7. Okay, wait. The idea of loss. Wait, no, the idea of memory. That's what I meant to say. And there's the 7 of Cups. And we do get the idea of different choices. Walking away. kicking the cups over. I don't want any of these. I mean, just the hands, it's like, I don't want any of these. I love it. There's the 9. And the 10. Definitely joined together, you know, wrapped around each other, sort of. The Page, Earth of Water, Fire of Water, the Knight with a letter, a message, the Queen of Water, Water of Water, and the Air of Water. Look at this, coming from the heart to the cup, and the writing. Wow. Very interesting. Okay, here's the air is in yellow, and there's the Ace of Swords. I love it. There's the 2. We do not get blindfolds. I want to look that one up. Okay, swords, intellect and conflict, deciding between 2 incompatible choices, dominion over another, incompatible choices. Okay. There's the 3 looking very familiar. I love the way everything has like an embroidered edge to it. Like these images have all been stitched onto the cards. Here's the 4. The 5. Here I see someone choosing power over another person. There's the 6, that's familiar. The 7, Maha. She has a very Maha look in her face. Come on. There it is. Maha. I got the mole. Here's the 8. 8. So we don't have a blindfold, but we've got hair over the eyes. Look at the scars. Kind of a bed of swords. You know, he's laid down on a bed of swords. And here's the 9. Ooh. Wow. And the 10. The 9 kind of looks more like the 10. Tradition. It's gonna storm. I'm so excited. Okay, here's the 9. Look at the blades coming down from the eyes and the skeletons. Lots of loss. Wow, here's the Page. Earth of Air, Fire of Air. The Knights don't seem to be going much of anywhere. The Chevalier. Yeah, they're really not. Because he would be the one that's like flying through the air. There's the Queen of Swords and the King. And now we have, what do they call them? Coins. Yes. Values, work, body, richness. It's like the person's being juggled by the coins. There's the 3 working together. Obvious. The 4. Oh, dragon horde. Yeah, very descriptive. Here's the 5. Yep, please help. Look at the squiggles on there. Just like, please help me. And on the coins, we see a pentacle and a bird and a person and an eye. And same here. There's the 6. Certainly, very succinct. Money going from one hand to another, whether that's charity or money owed or money received. There's the 7. So you got this big bag full of coins. Is that the harvest? Reflecting on profits earned, investments, business strategy. So yeah, there's reviewal, but it's also the bag is full, harvest. Something earned. Here's 8. Yep, the apprentice. 9. She's got the bed. So we've retained that, and here's the 10. No people, just the building. That's interesting too. There's the page and the knight, or the chevalier. Interesting that the knight that doesn't go anywhere, the knight of coins, the chevalier of coins in this deck has wings. And there's the queen and the king. And then, oh, looky, there's a second. I was wondering if there was going to be a second card for blocking. And there is, and it's got all of the symbols on it. That's so considerate. So it's great that, US Games, as usual, gives you 2 cards to block the deck with. Okay, the charcoal is fired up. Let's fire up some sage. I'm very looking forward to a reading with this deck. And this was a gift from my daughter, so the reading will probably have a lot of significance to her, but, she can get readings anytime she wants, so my main thing here is a reading for the collective. For all of you. So by air and fire may you be purified and charged. By water and earth may you be blessed and made whole, and by the sound of the bell may the spirit awaken. Guides and guardians, allies and ancestors, welcome to you. Thank you so much for being here. Please help me to relay messages that are helpful to my viewers with this deck. And I offer you fresh water. I offer you the fire of Azrael to awaken the spirit of divination. All right. I'm looking forward to shuffling it because these cards are cardstock cards. It is a chunky deck, and when you have, I mean, it's not inordinately chunky. This feels like standard US Games cardstock. So it should shuffle well, but when you have shorter decks, it can be a little bit of a challenge because sometimes they don't bend as well. Yeah, that's tough. It's tough because they're short. So I'm going to do this. I'm going to separate it like this. And I'm going to go like this. We'll keep them all upright because I do anyway, but this deck doesn't distinguish between upright and reverse meanings, even though the back of the cards is reversible. So, you do you, boo. All right. Thunder. I love it. There have been several days where it's like, it's going to rain, big strong storms, and of course it doesn't come to us. Oh, yeah, not easy to shuffle the whole deck. That's a little disappointing. And, with my Hanson Roberts, it's a small deck too. I never had any trouble shuffling that deck. A lot depends on the width of the card versus the length. And you know what? I want to find out. I want to compare. Here's the Hanson Roberts. If I can open it. My hands are very shaky today, and I'm not quite sure why. All right, here is Hanson Roberts. Here is Medieval Mischief. So they are shorter. Here, let's do it this way. They're shorter and more narrow. Okay. So let's just cut shuffle, and that does not go in there. Okay. What do we need to know today? We have the Chevalier of Air, of Swords, Knight of Swords. So the one that I picked out to talk about knight not going anywhere. Let's see what he says. Okay, and you know what's really helpful is the print in the book for the minors has the names of the cards in the same color as the element on the card. So it's very easy. If you can't remember that's air, you just go to where the colors match. And this is the Chevalier. He says, so he is the fire of air. Courage, bold action, the ability to wage war. Okay. Wow. All righty. Gonna try not to be political and topical, but here we go. So, I already forgot what I read. Courage, bold action. So he's sitting very up straight on that horse with his abnormally long limbs, and he's holding that sword. He's like, I'm ready to go. Bold action, bravery, ability to wage war. All right, what? I'm trying to decide what I'm doing here. I'm going to do a 9 card. I'm going to do a 9 card. And that starts us off. I'm going to put you up here to all right, the world in the middle. The 2 of Swords, the 5 of Wands, and the world. The majors coming out. Okay. So in the middle we have the sun. And if we look at that knight that flipped out in the beginning, talking about courage and bravery and the ability to wage war, we certainly have some things going on in the news right now that are very much in line with that description. But the sun coming out, let's read. We're going to let the deck speak for itself. Okay. The star, the moon, the sun. Fire element. The sun represents brightness of thought, lucidity, happiness, and light. But as fire itself, the sun can burn people and hurt their eyes if looked at directly. Man adores the sun, giver of life and warmth. Many sun gods existed in history. From behind the walls of life, anyone can rejoice in the sun just by putting one's hand to the sky and asking for absolution. Very interesting. We got all these yods in there too. So yods are fire, like lightning. So we've got all of this fire falling down, and it really can talk about the balance. We've got warmth coming in, but when does it become too much? How do we keep that in balance so we don't get burned? Sun is also empowerment. It's also your creative expression, who you are. So it's like, are you willing to fight for who you are? All right. 2 of Swords. Deciding between two incompatible choices, dominion over another. Oh, God. I mean, if we look at Russia right now, my God, you guys, dominion over another is where we start. And then there's the world, which brings things to an end. It's completion. And I just noticed that the judgment card here is not called judgment, it's called apocalypse. Wow. So this is Earth. At this point in time and in the deck, everything has reached its maximum expression. The 4 elements have been mixed into the alchemical rebus, which represents the perfection of male and female, and the union of above and below, heaven and earth. The Ouroboros, symbol of infinite existence, surrounds the androgynous figure. The world represents complete harmony of opposites and is the symbol of earth. The harmony of opposites. So we have choices that are incompatible, but the world says we can find harmony between things that are incompatible. So our courage, our bravery, the ability to wage war, what are we going to do instead? We're going to spend it looking at how we can bring disparate things into harmony. How can things that are incompatible exist together. How can we learn to exist together without waging war? Okay. Five of Wands. And this really does go beyond the specific event that's happening right now to, our whole collective journey right now. And then here's the five of, that's not a sword, that's a wand. It's nice that there are so few pages for the minors. Five says fight, quarrel, challenge, competition. Okay. So we have trying to make a decision between two things that are incompatible. Which way do we go? We have things that are in conflict here. Fights, quarrels, challenges, and in between is the world. How can we harmonize? How can we be both and? And boy, I know the answer in my head that's getting screamed. We take care of people so that they have the things they need, because it's when people aren't getting the things they need and aren't being afforded their rights and their choice that things start getting shitty, right? Okay. Cups. We have the Five of Cups, loss of pleasure and joy, regret. Then we had that Sun. And in the majors, they do not boil things down to just a few keywords. It's it's a longer description. But in the beginning, represent brightness of thought, lucidity, happiness, and light. There you have it. Empowerment, light in balance. We need light and dark. Look at this. Look at the moon, the sun, the moon. We need both the light and the dark to keep things in balance. And here we have loss. Loss of the light, loss of a sense of empowerment, a sense of sovereignty, a sense of self-ownership. The moon, the dark face of the moon, diffuses the light and conjures an illusion of the primordial fish. Just as in the dark wilderness, man tries to reach his unreachable goals, predators, ruin, just as in the dark wilderness, man tries to reach his unreachable goals, period. Predators, ruin, and violent waters await. Yikes. The moon is the huntress, but she is also dreams and hopes. The sign of Pisces falls under the moon and represents all hidden life underwater or underground, so that makes total sense. It crawls and never stops, even if it is silent. The underground currents, the things that are moving in the subconscious that we can't see, we haven't brought conscious. So here too, there's been a lot of loss and there's grieving, but we need to pay attention to the things that have remained hidden that maybe we haven't looked at. And one of those things is regret. I like the key word of regret here. So we need to address those things. Then we come down to the bottom. I'm glad we have a couple courts. And this is the Page of Clubs. The Earth of Fire. Good news, a cheerful, adventuresome person. Then we have the Star. So we have the sun, moon, and star in sort of different order. She is cosmic knowledge, astronomy, astrology, and also subtle messages from the heavens. Wait, water. Subtle message was drink some water. Aquarius impregnates this card with femininity, grace, and motherhood. The star has in itself the whole solar system with all the planets. While the Empress was the power of the feminine, the star is the gracious feminine, a more tranquil and meditative figure. How interesting. The gracious feminine. As every air-influenced arcanum, the star is pulsating and ever-changing. This could be good, but also an obstacle in given situations. And I don't see the word hope here, hope and inspiration. So the gracious feminine versus the feminine power. Feminine grace, what is that? It's our innate intuition, it's our enhanced senses, it's our common sense, that kind of stuff, I think. But this is air, so we're talking about And Aquarius, of course, is hope and humanity, humanitarian pursuits. Okay. And then we have the Four of Wands. Harmony, perfected work, achievement. Okay. So even though some of the meanings might differ, when you're working with a new deck that's maybe based on a system you're unfamiliar with, for example, I'm a Wade Smith baby, and these are based more in Marseille. Pardon. But when you're doing that, remember he talked about syncretism, bringing systems together? When you're doing that, if your intuition is giving you a message from the card that differs from the book, meaning that is more like the one that you're used to, and you guys know this, go with your intuition if that's what weaves the story together. Sometimes we have to go with what the deck says in order to get sense out of it. But here we've got world, sun, star. Okay. So we have these global things. And then we've got the sun, the center of our solar system. But we have to remember that it's not the center of the universe, that it's just one of the millions of stars. So when we look at ourselves as well and looking at these things of conflict and trying to bring together disparate things that don't seem compatible, and looking back on what we've regretted about the past, we really start with going, all right, I am the center of my world, but we need to really acknowledge that there are others that are also, hold sovereignty in their little puddle. So these are allowances. We have to hash things through and kind of challenge each other and compete, look at how things can fit together. This is where we need brains that are very Aquarian, down to the star here, because we need people that can imagine new things, that can really stretch their own paradigms to a point where things that are seemingly incompatible can work together. And then, the moon coming in saying we've got to look at what we regret, what we've kind of abandoned. Neptune and Pisces is abandonment as well. What part of ourselves have we abandoned that we regret, that should still be part of ourselves, that sort of feed into our own empowerment, our own expression of self? And then down here, it's time for real creativity to come in. We go from just raw creativity and we run it through Aquarius, the Aquarian mind of invention, in service to humanity, and then we start building a new structure. Then we can build anew. And the last card we have here is the Seven of Cups. Illusory pleasure, fantasies, overwhelming options. Okay, so our challenge here is not to be overwhelmed by all this. We have so much, our warlike ways are the things we have to confront. We have to confront them. In order to change them in the world, we have to confront them personally. That's the way it is. The world doesn't change without people changing. What's the song I heard a line from the other day about waiting on the world to change? We're all sitting here waiting on the world to change. That is not how it works. Change yourself, change your world, and then the world changes. So where in your world can you look at where you've been a little too aggressive, challenging, yes, brave and courageous, but a little warlike? With these two coming here, it's definitely saying, where have we struggled with others? And what regrets do we hold, and how can we start moving forward in a new way? I want to take, with this saying it's going to be overwhelming. We had the Chevalier of Coins, slow down. When it's overwhelming, slow down is what I'm getting there. Responsibility, hard work, helpfulness. So yeah, dig in and work. And then we've got the Four of Swords, laying down the arms, laying down the swords. It's time to put that to bed and to rest. Let's read that. I just want to give the deck the chance to speak for itself. On every occasion, solitude, intellectual stasis, rest from anguish. So, wow. I love this deck. I like the keywords with it. I love the nuances that are new for me. It is a very easy deck to learn because the descriptions aren't overly long and complicated. I mean, the minor arcana are just pithy keywords, boom, 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 just like in the old days. Just like in the old days with Hanson Roberts or with US Games, and you get the little white book and it's just keywords, boom, 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 boom. Here's what this means. And then we started giving descriptions, which are amazing and wonderful. But now we've got decks where there's so much to read that it's almost prohibitive to using it as a divination tool unless this is going to be like your whole system. So I love this deck. I love US Games decks for the most part. There's nothing not to love here. Seriously. So if you like kind of quirky things, I could see this playing well with Morgan's Tarot. And with the deck of character, Oracle as a clarifier. So anyway, what do you guys think? Do you have this deck? Is it something that made you go, hey, I want that right now? Is it a deck I would have picked up? I don't think so. And so this is why I'm so glad, because my daughter tends to buy me decks that I would just go kind of, and they turn out to be fantastic. So I'd like to know your thoughts. And I would like to have you comment down below, because I love to engage with you. I love to have a conversation. And there's also an Amazon wish list down below. If you want to buy me a deck off that list, I will read for you on my test drive. And let me know if there's other particular content you're interested in seeing, because I can envision a day where I'm not buying all kinds of decks anymore as I close in on 400. And, if there's something that you would like to see me do a deep dive on or whatever, just let me know. I'm looking for new ideas. All right, you guys, thanks for hanging out with me. I will see you next time. Till then, this is Luna. Blessed be.